You are not stuck. Read that again. You are not stuck. You have been lied to. You have been told that change takes time. That transformation is slow. That you need years of therapy, mountains of money, or a miracle from the heavens to become someone new. This is a comfortable lie. And you have believed it because it gives you permission to stay exactly where you are. But here is the truth that will set you free: you can outgrow your old self faster than you ever imagined possible. Not someday. Not next year. Not when conditions are perfect. Right now. Today. This very moment. The person you were yesterday does not have to be the person you are today. The patterns you lived by last week do not have to control you this week. The identity you carried for years can be shed like old skin, and underneath is a new you, waiting to emerge. But first, you must stop waiting for permission. You must stop waiting for the right moment. You must stop waiting for someone to come and rescue you from yourself. No one is coming. This is not a tragedy. This is your liberation. You are the only one who can do this work. You are the only one who can decide that the old version of you has expired. You are the only one who holds the key to your own transformation. And the moment you accept this, everything changes. Most people live their entire lives as passengers in their own story. They react. They respond. They adapt to circumstances. They drift from day to day, shaped by events, molded by opinions, controlled by habits they did not choose but simply inherited. They look in the mirror and see someone they do not recognize. Someone tired. Someone compromised. Someone who once had dreams but now has excuses. Is this you? If it is, listen carefully: you are at a crossroads. One path leads to more of the same. More disappointment. More frustration. More years of looking back with regret. The other path leads to rapid, radical transformation. To a new identity. To a new life. Which path will you choose? This video is not entertainment. This is not theory. This is a direct transmission of truth that will challenge everything you think you know about change, about growth, about who you can become. Before we go further, do this: subscribe to this channel right now. Not later. Now. And leave a comment telling me where you are watching from. Not because I need the numbers, but because that simple act is your first declaration. Your first decision. Your first step toward becoming someone who takes action immediately, without hesitation, without negotiation. Do it now. Because the speed at which you act on small things determines the speed at which you will transform your entire life. Are you ready? Then let us begin. There is a law that governs all transformation. It is not written in books. It is not taught in schools. But it operates with absolute precision, every moment of every day. Here it is: you cannot outgrow your old self while clinging to your old patterns. This sounds simple. Perhaps too simple. But this is where most people fail. They want a new life, but they refuse to release the old one. They want new results, but they keep thinking the same thoughts. They want to become someone different, but they continue doing the same things. And they wonder why nothing changes. Understand this: your current self is not an accident. It is a creation. Every habit you have, every belief you hold, every emotion you feel regularly, every word you speak, every action you take has been building the person you are right now. You are a walking, breathing result of thousands of tiny decisions made over time. Some of these decisions were conscious. Most were not. But all of them have consequences. The person you are today is the sum total of your mental and physical patterns. Your thoughts have formed your beliefs. Your beliefs have shaped your expectations. Your expectations have determined your actions. Your actions have created your results. This is the chain of causation. And it is unbreakable. But here is the good news: if you created the person you are, you can create the person you want to become. You are not a victim of circumstance. You are not a prisoner of your past. You are not condemned to repeat the same patterns forever. You are the architect of your own identity. But to build something new, you must first demolish what is old. You cannot construct a mansion on a foundation of rubble. You cannot plant a garden in poisoned soil. You cannot become someone new while living as someone old. This is the great test. This is where most people turn back. They want transformation without disruption. They want growth without discomfort. They want a new self without letting go of the old one. It does not work that way. Listen carefully, outgrowing your old self requires a death. Not a physical death, but a death nonetheless. The death of old identities. The death of comfortable lies. The death of familiar patterns that no longer serve you. And death is never comfortable. You will feel resistance. Your mind will fight you. Your emotions will protest. Your body will rebel. Everything in you that is familiar will scream for you to stop, to turn back, to return to what is known. This is normal. This is expected. This is the price of transformation. But you must pay it. There is no other way. Now, let me tell you something that will shock you. Most people do not want to change. They say they do. They wish they could. They dream about it. But deep down, they prefer the comfort of the familiar over the uncertainty of the new. They would rather live with known pain than risk unknown possibilities. This is why most people stay stuck. Not because they cannot change, but because they will not change. They will not surrender the old stories they tell themselves. They will not release the old wounds they wear as badges. They will not let go of the old version of themselves, even when that version is destroying their life. Why? Because that old self is familiar. It is known. It is safe. And the human mind craves safety above all else. But here is what your mind does not understand: the safest place is not where you are. The safest place is where you are becoming. The greatest risk is not change. The greatest risk is staying the same while the world moves forward. Every day you remain as you are is a day lost. Every week you cling to old patterns is a week stolen from your potential. Every year you refuse to outgrow your old self is a year you will never get back. Time is moving. The question is, are you moving with it, or are you standing still while life passes you by? Your results are trying to teach you something. Your circumstances are trying to show you something. Your life, exactly as it is right now, is a mirror reflecting back the person you have been. Do you like what you see? If you do, then you need not change. Stay exactly as you are. Keep thinking the same thoughts. Keep feeling the same emotions. Keep taking the same actions. Your life will remain exactly as it is. But if you do not like what you see, if you are frustrated, if you are disappointed, if you know in your bones that you are capable of more, then you must accept the fundamental truth: your current self created your current results. And your current self cannot create different results. You need a new self. A self with new patterns. New beliefs. New standards. New disciplines. New vision. And you need this new self fast, because time is not waiting for you to figure it out. This is not about self-improvement. This is about self-transformation. Improvement suggests making the old self a little better. Transformation means becoming someone entirely new. Improvement is gradual. Transformation is rapid. Improvement is comfortable. Transformation is disruptive. Improvement is optional. Transformation is essential. You are not here to improve. You are here to transform. And transformation begins the moment you accept total responsibility for who you are and who you will become. Not partial responsibility. Not shared responsibility. Total responsibility. This means you stop blaming your past. You stop blaming your parents. You stop blaming your circumstances. You stop blaming the economy, the government, your boss, your spouse, your friends, or your enemies. You stop blaming anything or anyone outside yourself. Because the moment you blame something external, you give away your power. You make yourself a victim. And victims do not transform. Victims wait to be rescued. But no one is coming to rescue you. You are the only one who can do this. And when you truly accept this, when you feel it in your bones, something shifts. You stop looking outside for answers. You stop waiting for conditions to change. You stop hoping for luck or miracles. You become the answer. You become the change. You become the miracle. This is the beginning of rapid transformation. But you must understand something else. The old self will not go quietly. It will fight for its survival. It will whisper doubts. It will manufacture fears. It will create elaborate justifications for why you should wait, why you should slow down, why you should compromise. Do not listen. The old self is a liar. It has kept you small. It has kept you safe. It has kept you stuck. And it must die so that the new self can live. This is not metaphor. This is literal truth. Every cell in your body regenerates. Your brain creates new neural pathways based on what you think and do repeatedly. Your identity is not fixed, it is fluid. You are always in the process of becoming. The question is, are you becoming by default or by design? Most people become by default. They absorb the beliefs of their environment. They adopt the habits of those around them. They conform to expectations. They drift. But you are different. You are here because something in you refuses to drift. Something in you demands more. Something in you knows that you were meant for greatness, not mediocrity. That something is your true self. And it has been waiting for you to wake up. Today is the day you wake up. Today is the day you declare war on the old patterns that have held you hostage. Today is the day you decide to outgrow your old self, not slowly, not eventually, but fast. Because you do not have time to waste. Because life is short. Because every moment you delay is a moment you lose forever. The principles I am sharing with you are not opinions. They are laws. They govern success just as gravity governs falling objects. You can ignore them, but they will still operate. You can deny them, but they will still produce results. Or you can align yourself with them and harness their power for your transformation. The choice is yours. It has always been yours. It will always be yours. But understand this, choosing to do nothing is still a choice. And it has consequences just as real as choosing to act. So what will you choose? Will you continue to be the person you have always been, or will you become the person you were always meant to be? Will you cling to the comfort of the familiar, or will you embrace the challenge of transformation? Will you drift through life reacting to circumstances, or will you seize control and design your destiny? These are not small questions. These are the questions that determine the trajectory of your entire life. And the answers begin with a single decision: I will outgrow my old self, starting now. Not when I feel ready. Not when conditions are perfect. Not when I have more money, more time, more support. Now. Because now is the only moment you have. And if you cannot change now, you will never change. This is the truth that most people avoid. They tell themselves they will change tomorrow. They promise themselves they will start next week. They convince themselves that someday, when things are different, they will finally become who they want to be. But tomorrow never comes. Next week never arrives. Someday never happens. There is only now. There is only today. There is only this moment. And in this moment, you have a choice. Make the right one. Now we must talk about why you have not already transformed. We must confront the patterns that have kept you locked in place. We must expose the lies you have been telling yourself. This will not be comfortable. But comfort is not what you need. You need truth. Here is the first mistake most people make: they believe that wanting to change is enough. It is not. Wanting is passive. Wanting is weak. Wanting is what people do when they are not ready to commit. You do not need to want to change. You need to decide to change. You need to commit to change. You need to act on change. There is a vast difference between wanting and deciding. When you want something, you hope for it. You wish for it. You think about it. But you do not pay the price for it. When you decide something, you cut off all other possibilities. You burn the bridges behind you. You make it inevitable. Have you decided to outgrow your old self, or do you merely want to? If you have only been wanting, that is why nothing has changed. Decide right now. Say it out loud: I have decided to outgrow my old self. I have decided to transform. I have decided to become someone new. Feel the difference? Deciding has power. Wanting has none. Here is the second mistake: you keep negotiating with yourself. You decide to wake up early, but when the alarm rings, you negotiate. You tell yourself you need more sleep. You tell yourself you will start tomorrow. You tell yourself it does not really matter. And you hit snooze. You decide to exercise, but when the moment comes, you negotiate. You tell yourself you are too tired. You tell yourself you have too much work. You tell yourself one day off will not hurt. And you skip it. You decide to speak with confidence, to act with courage, to pursue your goals, but when fear arises, you negotiate. You tell yourself it is not the right time. You tell yourself you are not ready. You tell yourself you will do it later. And you retreat. Every negotiation is a betrayal of your decision. Every compromise is a vote for the old self. Every time you let yourself off the hook, you reinforce the patterns you are trying to break. And you wonder why you stay stuck. Listen to me: transformation requires ruthlessness. You must become ruthless with your excuses. Ruthless with your justifications. Ruthless with your comfort. When you decide to do something, you do it. No negotiation. No debate. No hesitation. This is the difference between people who transform and people who talk about transforming. Here is the third mistake: you are still waiting to feel like doing it. You think that one day you will wake up and feel motivated. You think that one day you will feel confident enough, ready enough, strong enough. That day will never come. Feelings follow action. They do not precede it. You do not act because you feel motivated. You feel motivated because you act. You do not speak with confidence because you feel confident. You feel confident because you speak with confidence. You do not become a new person because you feel like a new person. You feel like a new person because you act like a new person. Stop waiting for feelings. Start creating them through action. This is a fundamental truth that most people never learn. They remain prisoners of their emotions, always waiting to feel right before they act. And because they never act, they never feel right. You must reverse this. You must act first, regardless of how you feel. And the feelings will follow. Here is the fourth mistake: you keep seeking comfort. Every time you face discomfort, you retreat. Every time you encounter resistance, you quit. Every time something feels hard, you look for an easier path. But there is no easy path to transformation. There is no comfortable way to outgrow your old self. There is no shortcut through the fire. You must walk through the fire. You must embrace the discomfort. You must make friends with resistance. Because discomfort is the price of admission to a new life. Think about this: everything you want is on the other side of discomfort. Every version of yourself that is better than who you are now lives beyond your current comfort zone. If you stay comfortable, you stay the same. This is a law. So you must become comfortable with being uncomfortable. You must learn to welcome the feeling of stretching, of growing, of breaking through old limits. When you feel resistance, that is a sign you are going in the right direction. When you feel fear, that is a signal you are approaching something important. When you feel uncomfortable, that is evidence you are growing. Stop running from these feelings. Start running toward them. Here is the fifth mistake: you are still attached to your old identity. You say you want to change, but you introduce yourself with your old story. You talk about who you were, what you did, what happened to you. You wear your past like a uniform. And as long as you identify with your past, you cannot create a different future. Listen carefully: your story is not who you are. It is who you were. There is a difference. Who you were got you here. But who you are becoming will take you there. You must release your attachment to your old identity. You must stop telling the old stories. You must stop defining yourself by what was and start defining yourself by what will be. This is hard for most people because their identity is all they have. They have built their entire sense of self around their history, their traumas, their struggles, their limitations. And letting go of that feels like losing themselves. But here is the truth: you are not losing yourself. You are finding yourself. The real you. The you that has been buried under years of conditioning and compromise. That real you is not defined by what happened. It is defined by what you decide to create. Here is the sixth mistake: you are surrounding yourself with people who reinforce your old self. Your environment is shaping you every moment of every day. The people you spend time with, the conversations you have, the content you consume, the places you go, all of it is either pulling you forward or pulling you back. If you spend time with people who accept mediocrity, you will accept mediocrity. If you surround yourself with people who make excuses, you will make excuses. If you engage with content that reinforces your old patterns, you will stay trapped in those patterns. You cannot transform in the same environment that formed you. You cannot become someone new while surrounded by people who only know the old you. You must change your environment. You must change your associations. You must change your inputs. This does not mean you abandon everyone in your life. But it does mean you become deliberate about who and what influences you. Ask yourself: are the people around me supporting my transformation or sabotaging it? Are the things I watch, read, and listen to elevating me or dragging me down? If the answer is the latter, you know what you must do. Here is the seventh mistake: you are thinking about transformation instead of embodying it. You read about change. You watch videos about change. You think about change. But you do not live it. Transformation is not a mental exercise. It is a physical reality. It is something you do, not something you think about. You must embody the new self. You must walk like the new self. You must talk like the new self. You must make decisions like the new self. Every action you take is either in alignment with who you are becoming or in alignment with who you were. There is no neutral. Every time you hit snooze, you embody the old self. Every time you procrastinate, you embody the old self. Every time you compromise your standards, you embody the old self. But every time you act with discipline, you embody the new self. Every time you do what you said you would do, you embody the new self. Every time you choose growth over comfort, you embody the new self. Which self are you embodying right now? Here is the eighth mistake: you are trying to change everything at once. You wake up one day and decide to transform your entire life. You create a list of 20 new habits. You make grand declarations. You set impossible standards. And within a week, you have collapsed back into your old patterns. Why? Because you overwhelmed yourself. You tried to become a completely different person overnight. And when you could not sustain it, you gave up. This is not how transformation works. Transformation is rapid, but it is also focused. You do not change everything at once. You change one thing, and then you let that one thing create momentum for the next thing. You start with the keystone habit, the one behavior that will create a cascade of other positive changes. Maybe it is waking up early. Maybe it is exercising daily. Maybe it is eliminating distractions. Maybe it is speaking your truth. Whatever it is, you commit to it completely. You make it non-negotiable. You do it every single day without exception. And as you build that one habit, it changes you. It strengthens your discipline. It proves to yourself that you can change. It creates a new identity. And from that foundation, you add the next habit. And the next. And the next. This is how you outgrow your old self fast without burning out. Here is the 9th mistake: you are still making your past mean something about your future. You failed before, so you think you will fail again. You were rejected before, so you think you will be rejected again. You struggled before, so you think you will struggle again. You have turned your past into a prophecy. And prophecies, when believed, tend to fulfill themselves. But your past is not your future unless you allow it to be. Every moment is a new beginning. Every day is a fresh start. Every action is an opportunity to write a new story. The person who failed yesterday does not have to fail today. The person who was weak last year does not have to be weak this year. The person who struggled in the past does not have to struggle in the future. You are not condemned to repeat history. You are free to create something new. But first, you must stop letting your past define you. You must stop using it as evidence of what you cannot do. You must stop allowing it to limit what you believe is possible. Your past is data. It is information. But it is not destiny. What you do today determines your tomorrow. Not what you did yesterday. So what will you do today? Now we arrive at the turning point. The moment where everything shifts. The moment where you step into a new way of being. This is where you make the decision that will change everything. Here is the new mindset you must adopt: I am not who I was. I am who I am becoming. Read that again. Feel it. Let it sink into every cell of your body. I am not who I was. I am who I am becoming. This is not positive thinking. This is not affirmation. This is recognition of truth. You are not a static being. You are a dynamic process. You are constantly becoming. The question is, are you becoming by default or by design? From this moment forward, you will become by design. This means you will decide who you are becoming. You will define the standards of that person. You will clarify the vision of that life. And you will act, every single day, in alignment with that future self. You will no longer live from your past. You will no longer be controlled by old patterns. You will no longer identify with who you were. You will live from your future. You will be pulled forward by your vision. You will identify with who you are becoming. This is the shift that creates rapid transformation. Let me explain how this works. Most people live their lives looking backward. They make decisions based on what they have always done. They act according to their history. They define themselves by their past. And so they recreate the same life, over and over, year after year. But when you live from your future, everything changes. You make decisions based on who you are becoming, not who you were. You act according to your vision, not your history. You define yourself by your potential, not your past. And so you create a new life, rapidly, powerfully, inevitably. This requires a new level of clarity. You must know who you are becoming. Not vaguely. Not generally. Specifically. What does that person believe? How does that person think? How does that person speak? How does that person act? How does that person handle challenges? How does that person treat others? How does that person treat themselves? You must answer these questions with precision. Because you cannot become someone you have not defined. Take time right now, after this video, to write out a description of your future self. Write it in present tense, as if you are already that person. I am someone who. Fill in the blanks. Be specific. Be bold. Be honest. This is not fantasy. This is design. You are designing the person you will become. And once you have that design, you begin to live it immediately. Not someday. Not when you are ready. Now. You act as that person would act. You speak as that person would speak. You decide as that person would decide. At first, it will feel like pretending. It will feel uncomfortable. It will feel unfamiliar. Good. That discomfort is evidence that you are stretching beyond your old self. Keep going. Keep acting as the future self. Keep embodying the new identity. And over time, something miraculous happens. The pretending becomes real. The unfamiliar becomes familiar. The new identity becomes your identity. This is not fake it until you make it. This is embody it until you become it. There is a difference. Faking is dishonest. Embodying is intentional. You are not pretending to be someone you are not. You are practicing being someone you are becoming. And practice, done consistently, creates mastery. Now, this new mindset requires something else: total responsibility. You must accept that you are the creator of your life. Not the victim. Not the passenger. The creator. This means that everything in your life, your results, your circumstances, your relationships, your health, your wealth, your happiness, all of it is your responsibility. Not your fault. Your responsibility. There is a difference. Fault is about blame. Responsibility is about power. When you accept responsibility, you reclaim your power. You stop being at the mercy of circumstances. You stop waiting for things to change. You become the change. This is the mindset of the new self. The old self blamed. The new self creates. The old self complained. The new self builds. The old self waited. The new self acts. Which self will you be? Here is another element of the new mindset: discipline is freedom. The old self saw discipline as restriction. The new self sees discipline as liberation. Why? Because discipline is what allows you to become who you want to be. Discipline is what allows you to outgrow your old patterns. Discipline is what allows you to create the life you desire. Without discipline, you are a slave to impulse. You are controlled by emotions. You are at the mercy of circumstances. But with discipline, you are the master. You decide. You control. You create. Discipline is not about restriction. It is about alignment. It is about bringing your actions into alignment with your vision. Every act of discipline is an act of self-love. It is you saying, I care about my future more than my momentary comfort. And every act of indiscipline is an act of self-betrayal. It is you saying, I care about my comfort more than my future. Which message are you sending yourself? The new self understands this. The new self chooses discipline, not because it is easy, but because it is necessary. Here is another truth the new self understands: clarity is power. The old self was vague. Vague about goals. Vague about standards. Vague about identity. And vagueness leads to drift. But the new self is clear. Crystal clear. About who they are becoming. About what they are creating. About what they will and will not tolerate. This clarity creates power. It creates direction. It creates momentum. When you are clear about who you are becoming, every decision becomes simple. You ask, is this in alignment with my future self? If yes, you do it. If no, you do not. No negotiation. No debate. No confusion. Clarity eliminates internal conflict. And when there is no internal conflict, you move fast. This is why clarity is essential for rapid transformation. Without it, you waste energy on indecision. With it, you channel all your energy toward your vision. So get clear. Get specific. Get precise. Who are you becoming? What are you creating? What standards will you uphold? Answer these questions, and you will move faster than you ever thought possible. Here is another principle of the new mindset: your words create your reality. The old self spoke carelessly. They complained. They gossiped. They repeated limiting beliefs as if they were facts. And their words shaped their reality. But the new self speaks with intention. Every word is chosen. Every statement is deliberate. Every declaration is powerful. Why? Because words are not just sounds. Words are creative forces. They shape your beliefs. They influence your emotions. They direct your actions. When you say, I can't, you make it true. When you say, I always, you create a pattern. When you say, I am, you define yourself. Your words are programming your subconscious mind. They are building your identity. They are creating your future. The new self understands this. And so they speak only words that align with the future they are creating. They do not say, I can't. They say, I am learning how. They do not say, I always fail. They say, I am becoming someone who succeeds. They do not say, I am not good enough. They say, I am becoming better every day. This is not delusional. This is intentional. This is using the power of language to shape reality. Start today. Monitor your words. Notice when you speak limitations. Stop. Reframe. Speak from your future self, not your past self. Your words will change your thoughts. Your thoughts will change your beliefs. Your beliefs will change your actions. Your actions will change your results. This is the chain of transformation. And it begins with your words. Here is another element: the new self embraces discomfort as a sign of growth. The old self avoided discomfort at all costs. They stayed in their comfort zone. They chose ease over growth. And they stayed stuck. But the new self seeks discomfort. Not because they enjoy pain, but because they understand that discomfort is the price of expansion. Every time you feel uncomfortable, you are growing. Every time you face fear, you are becoming braver. Every time you push through resistance, you are becoming stronger. Discomfort is not your enemy. It is your teacher. It is showing you where you need to grow. It is pointing you toward your next level. So when you feel uncomfortable, lean in. Do not retreat. Do not negotiate. Lean in. Ask yourself, what is this discomfort teaching me? What is on the other side of this fear? And then move forward. This is how you outgrow your old self fast. Not by avoiding discomfort, but by embracing it. Here is the final principle of the new mindset: you are not changing who you are. You are revealing who you have always been. The old self thought they needed to become someone completely different. Someone foreign. Someone unrecognizable. But the new self understands that transformation is not about becoming someone else. It is about becoming more fully yourself. The real you has always been there. Beneath the conditioning. Beneath the fear. Beneath the limiting beliefs. The real you is powerful. Capable. Worthy. destined for greatness. You do not need to create this person. You need to uncover this person. You need to strip away the layers of doubt, fear, and limitation that have covered your true self. You need to shed the false identities you adopted to fit in, to be safe, to be accepted. And when you do, what remains is the real you. The you that was always meant to shine. This is liberation. This is transformation. This is outgrowing your old self. Not becoming someone new, but becoming fully who you have always been. Now we move from principle to practice. From understanding to action. From knowing to doing. Because knowledge without application is worthless. Understanding without execution changes nothing. You must act. And you must act now. Here are the daily habits and practices that will allow you to outgrow your old self fast. These are not suggestions. These are commands. Follow them precisely, and you will transform. Ignore them, and you will remain stuck. First practice, morning declaration. Every morning, before you do anything else, you will speak your new identity out loud. Stand in front of a mirror. Look yourself in the eyes. And declare who you are becoming. I am someone who acts with discipline. I am someone who keeps my word. I am someone who pursues excellence. I am someone who faces fear with courage. I am someone who creates value. I am someone who is constantly growing. Speak it with conviction. Speak it with power. Speak it until you feel it. This is not affirmation. This is declaration. You are not hoping. You are deciding. Do this every single morning without exception. This practice programs your mind for the day ahead. It reminds you of your identity. It sets your intention. Most people wake up and immediately check their phone. They allow the external world to program their mind before they have programmed it themselves. Do not do this. Take control of your mind first thing in the morning. Declare your identity. Set your intention. Prepare yourself mentally for the day. This single practice, done consistently, will transform your life faster than anything else. Second practice, the one non-negotiable action. Every day, you will identify one action that, if completed, will move you forward no matter what else happens. This is your non-negotiable. The one thing you must do, regardless of circumstances, regardless of how you feel, regardless of what comes up. Maybe it is 30 minutes of focused work on your most important goal. Maybe it is a workout. Maybe it is reaching out to someone important. Maybe it is learning something new. Whatever it is, you identify it first thing in the morning. And you do not rest until it is done. This practice builds discipline. It builds trust in yourself. It creates momentum. Because when you do the one thing that matters most, every single day, your life changes rapidly. Most people have lists of things they want to do. But when the day gets busy, when resistance shows up, when they feel tired, they negotiate. They tell themselves they will do it tomorrow. But with the one non-negotiable action, there is no negotiation. You decided. You committed. You execute. Over time, this practice trains you to keep your word to yourself. And when you keep your word to yourself, you become unstoppable. Third practice, identity-based action. Throughout the day, before you make any decision, you will ask yourself one question: what would my future self do in this situation? This question is powerful because it forces you to step out of your old patterns and into your new identity. When you are tempted to hit snooze, ask, what would my future self do? When you are tempted to procrastinate, ask, what would my future self do? When you are tempted to complain, to make excuses, to take the easy path, ask, what would my future self do? And then do that. This practice aligns every decision with your transformation. It prevents you from slipping back into old patterns. It keeps you moving forward. At first, you will forget. You will make decisions based on old habits. That is normal. But keep asking the question. Keep redirecting yourself. Keep choosing the action that aligns with your future self. Over time, this becomes automatic. You will no longer need to ask the question because you will be living as your future self. Fourth practice, eliminate one pattern per week. You cannot build a new self on top of old patterns. You must remove the old patterns to make room for the new. Every week, identify one pattern that is holding you back. One habit. One behavior. One thought pattern. One way of speaking. And eliminate it completely. Not reduce it. Not modify it. Eliminate it. Maybe it is hitting snooze. Maybe it is scrolling social media mindlessly. Maybe it is complaining. Maybe it is making excuses. Maybe it is speaking negatively about yourself. Whatever it is, you cut it out completely for the entire week. No exceptions. And you replace it with a pattern that serves your future self. If you eliminate hitting snooze, you replace it with waking up immediately when the alarm rings. If you eliminate scrolling, you replace it with reading something that expands your mind. If you eliminate complaining, you replace it with finding solutions. Every week, you eliminate one old pattern and install one new pattern. In 12 weeks, you have eliminated 12 patterns that held you back and installed 12 patterns that propel you forward. Do you see how fast you can transform when you approach it this way? This is not about perfection. It is about progress. It is about becoming someone new, one pattern at a time. Fifth practice, evening review and refinement. Every evening, before you go to sleep, you will review your day. You will ask yourself 3 questions. Did I act as my future self today? Where did I fall back into old patterns? What will I do differently tomorrow? Write down your answers. Be honest. Do not judge yourself. Do not criticize yourself. Just observe. This practice creates awareness. And awareness is the beginning of change. When you review your day, you see clearly where you are still operating from your old self and where you are embodying your new self. And this clarity allows you to make adjustments. It allows you to course correct. It allows you to improve. Most people never review their day. They live reactively, repeating the same patterns without awareness. But you will not be like most people. You will be intentional. You will be aware. You will be constantly refining yourself. This evening review, done consistently, accelerates your transformation exponentially. Sixth practice, protect your environment. Your environment is constantly shaping you. If you do not control it, it will control you. Starting today, you will audit your environment. Who are you spending time with? Are they supporting your transformation or pulling you back? What are you consuming? Are you feeding your mind content that elevates you or content that drags you down? What are you listening to? Are you filling your mind with empowering messages or disempowering noise? What is in your physical space? Does your environment reflect who you are becoming or who you were? Make changes immediately. If there are people who constantly drain you, criticize you, or keep you small, limit your time with them. If there are people who inspire you, challenge you, or support your growth, spend more time with them. If you are consuming content that reinforces limitation, stop. Replace it with content that expands possibility. If your physical space is cluttered, chaotic, or full of reminders of your old self, clean it. Organize it. Make it a reflection of your future self. Your environment should support your transformation, not sabotage it. This is not about being antisocial or judgmental. This is about being strategic. This is about recognizing that you cannot transform in an environment that pulls you backward. Protect your environment as fiercely as you protect your mind. Seventh practice, immediate action on impulses for growth. Whenever you have an impulse to do something that aligns with your future self, act on it immediately. Not later. Not tomorrow. Immediately. If you have an impulse to call someone important, do it now. If you have an impulse to write down an idea, do it now. If you have an impulse to apologize, to reach out, to take a risk, do it now. Why? Because these impulses are messages from your future self. They are nudges toward growth. They are opportunities for transformation. But they are fleeting. If you do not act on them immediately, they disappear. And you miss the opportunity. The old self hesitated. The old self overthought. The old self talked themselves out of action. The new self acts immediately. Without hesitation. Without negotiation. This practice trains you to become someone who acts, not someone who thinks about acting. And action is what creates transformation. Over time, this practice rewires your brain. You become someone who moves quickly. Someone who seizes opportunities. Someone who does not let fear or doubt stop them. This is who you are becoming. Someone who acts. Eighth practice, challenge yourself daily. Every day, do something that makes you uncomfortable. Something that stretches you. Something that requires courage. It does not have to be big. It just has to be outside your comfort zone. Maybe it is speaking up in a meeting. Maybe it is starting a conversation with a stranger. Maybe it is trying something new. Maybe it is setting a boundary. Maybe it is asking for what you want. The specific action does not matter. What matters is that you are consistently pushing beyond your limits. This practice expands your comfort zone. It builds confidence. It trains you to face fear. And the more you practice facing fear, the less power fear has over you. Most people avoid discomfort their entire lives. And so their lives stay small. But you will not avoid discomfort. You will seek it. You will embrace it. You will use it as fuel for your transformation. Every day, challenge yourself. And every day, you will grow. Ninth practice, speak your transformation. Do not keep your transformation private. Speak it. Declare it. Share it. Not for validation. Not for approval. But for commitment. When you speak your commitment out loud to others, you create accountability. You create social pressure. You create a public identity. And this makes it harder to quit. Harder to negotiate. Harder to slip back into old patterns. Tell people, I am transforming. I am outgrowing my old self. I am becoming someone new. Some will support you. Some will doubt you. Some will criticize you. It does not matter. You are not doing this for them. You are doing this for you. But speaking it creates power. It makes it real. It turns your private decision into a public declaration. And declarations, when made with conviction, shape reality. 10th practice, celebrate progress, not perfection. You will not be perfect. You will have days when you fall back into old patterns. Days when you fail. Days when you feel like you are not making progress. This is normal. This is part of the process. But do not let imperfect days derail your transformation. Do not let one failure convince you that you cannot change. Instead, celebrate your progress. Notice how far you have come. Acknowledge the small wins. Recognize the improvements. Every day you act as your future self, even for a moment, is progress. Every day you catch yourself falling into old patterns and redirect yourself is progress. Every day you show up, even when you do not feel like it, is progress. Celebrate it. Acknowledge it. Build on it. Because transformation is not about perfection. It is about progression. And as long as you are progressing, you are transforming. These 10 practices, done consistently, will allow you to outgrow your old self faster than you ever imagined. But you must do them. Not think about them. Not plan to do them. Do them. Starting today. Starting right now. Now we have reached the end. But this is not the end. This is the beginning. You have been given the truth. You have been shown the path. You have been equipped with the tools. The question is, what will you do with them? Will you watch this video and then go back to your old life? Will you nod in agreement and then change nothing? Will you feel inspired for a moment and then let that inspiration fade? Or will you act? Because here is the final truth I must speak to you: nothing I have said matters unless you act on it. You are not transformed by hearing truth. You are transformed by living truth. You are not changed by understanding principles. You are changed by applying principles. You are not made new by knowing what to do. You are made new by doing what you know. So the question is not whether you understand. The question is whether you will act. And that decision will determine everything. You stand at a crossroads right now. One path leads back to the old life. The old patterns. The old self. It is familiar. It is comfortable. It is safe. But it is also a prison. And you know it. The other path leads forward into the unknown. Into discomfort. Into challenge. Into transformation. It is unfamiliar. It is difficult. It is risky. But it is also freedom. And deep down, you know that too. Which path will you choose? Understand this: the old self is waiting for you to come back. It is whispering in your ear right now. It is telling you that this is too hard. That you are not ready. That you will start later. That you do not have what it takes. Do not listen. That voice is the voice of fear. And fear is a liar. Fear wants to keep you small. Fear wants to keep you safe. Fear wants to keep you stuck. But you were not made for smallness. You were not made for safety. You were not made to stay stuck. You were made for greatness. You were made for growth. You were made for transformation. And the time has come for you to step into that greatness. No more waiting. No more negotiating. No more excuses. Today is the day. This is the moment. You are the one. You are the cause, not the effect. You are the creator, not the victim. You are the architect of your destiny. And your destiny is calling. It is calling you to become more. To rise higher. To break free from the chains of your old self and step into the fullness of who you were always meant to be. But you must answer the call. No one can do it for you. No one can transform you. No one can outgrow your old self on your behalf. This is your work. Your responsibility. Your destiny. And it begins now. From this moment forward, you are no longer who you were. You are who you are becoming. From this moment forward, you do not live from your past. You live from your future. From this moment forward, you are not controlled by old patterns. You are guided by new vision. From this moment forward, you are not a prisoner of circumstance. You are a creator of destiny. This is your declaration. This is your commitment. This is your promise to yourself. And you will keep it. Not because it is easy, but because it is necessary. Not because you feel like it, but because you decided to. Not because someone is watching, but because you are watching. You are the witness of your own life. And you will not betray yourself anymore. Every day, you will act as your future self. Every day, you will eliminate old patterns. Every day, you will move closer to the person you are becoming. And day by day, action by action, decision by decision, you will outgrow your old self. Not slowly. Not eventually. Fast. Because you do not have time to waste. Because life is short. Because greatness is waiting. And you were made for greatness. So move. Act. Transform. Stop thinking about it. Stop planning it. Stop preparing for it. Do it. Wake up tomorrow and declare your identity. Take your one non-negotiable action. Ask yourself what your future self would do. Eliminate an old pattern. Protect your environment. Challenge yourself. Speak your transformation. Celebrate your progress. Do this every single day. Without exception. Without negotiation. Without compromise. And watch what happens. Watch as your life begins to change. Watch as your confidence grows. Watch as opportunities appear. Watch as you become someone you barely recognize, someone stronger, someone wiser, someone more powerful. This is not fantasy. This is what happens when you commit fully to your transformation. This is what happens when you stop living as who you were and start living as who you are becoming. This is what happens when you outgrow your old self, fast. And it all begins with a single decision. The decision that says, I am done with the old me. I am done with the old patterns. I am done with the old life. From this moment forward, I am someone new. Make that decision now. Say it out loud. Feel it in your bones. And then live it. Every single day. For the rest of your life. Because your future is not determined by your past. Your future is determined by the patterns you commit to right now. And the pattern you are committing to is transformation. Rapid, radical, complete transformation. You are not improving. You are not adjusting. You are not modifying. You are transforming. You are becoming someone entirely new. And that someone is who you were always meant to be. So step into that identity. Own it. Embody it. Live it. The old self is dead. The new self is alive. And your new life begins right now. Go. Act. Transform. Your destiny is waiting.